right over here, I plan on putting a driveway in that's going to wrap around and go to where my next build area is for my Quonset hut and then my cabin, my main cabin. So that way I can drive straight through here pretty much. I've already cleared out some of the limbs of the trees that I'm going to go around. I think I've got about 5 trees. Some of them are just little teeny things. A couple of them are a little bigger that I got to cut down. So I'm going to go grab my chainsaw and we'll go on up here and I'll start on cutting some of these trees today because it's really nice out. It's very cold, but it's very nice out. So it's a good day to get these cut. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. My truck is parked down in my other driveway. So basically I'm making a driveway through here that can have 2 exits or entrances just like I did here. Just in case there's ever a fire and I can't get out one side, hopefully I can get out the other. You can see this is a fairly clear path other than all my limbs that I've cut down. So I can get through here and hopefully, we're going to go right through here, that I won't need to take any more trees down than I think I need. And we're going to make a left here. And I got a few more limbs on this tree on my left here I got to take out. I see they're sticking out too much still. So we're going to go through this way. You can see it's pretty open. It does kind of get a little tight right up here. And I do have more limbs to take out on the trees on the left and the right here. I think I needed the ladders. I couldn't get high enough. And then I didn't go very far. So I do have a couple little trees here I'm going to take out, the itty bitty ones, because they're really close on the other trees. Same thing here, I got a few that I'm going to thin out. I don't think they need to be that thick. Then this tree right here, this guy right here is going to come out. That guy is going to come out and we're going to go right through here. And here, I'm going to go around all this. Okay, here's the little tree I just talked about, and there's the other tree I just talked about. So we're right on the other side of them. Then you can see I can go up this way, and we're getting close to my Quonset hut pieces. And then there's 2 more trees right here, these little teeny ones. They need to come out. So we can drive through here. I'll have to clean up the limbs around here too. And I'll do that this winter. This little tree here by part of my Quonset hut stuff, that's going to come out. This little tree right here is going to come out. And then we can get, there's no more, it has to come out, just some limbs here. And a stump. That stump has to come out. Okay, this whole area here is the cabin area. To the left, just kind of give you an idea, is my other driveway. And to the right, just past those clumps of trees, that's where I'm going to build the Quonset hut. So to the right here, I started working on it. This is where the Quonset hut goes, right here. So where the Quonset hut sits is kind of in a little cubby. We got all these little trees right here. And on the other side of those trees right there, that's where the cabin goes. So yeah, that's going to be a whole area. And you can see, if you look on down here, I don't know if you can see it, but my pickup is at the entrance of my gate down there. And I haven't actually put gates in, I just put 2 posts in, put no trespassing on them. Because I had seen where people would come up here, because it's such a nice little area. And hunters like to come up here, and then they camp out and hunt on my land. Well, I've got signs out. In fact, down here on the ground. I don't know if you can see it. Those are deer tracks right there. So yeah, deer have been through here just recently. All right, so I'm gonna get back, go grab my chainsaw, and we'll come up here at the top and start working our way back towards the driveway. Drop the bigger one over here too. Oops. Still got several of them here to cut, so I'll come back tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow morning, get those cut. I got a couple over there, get the stack of wood that's over there brought over here. But you know what, it's extra wood that I didn't know I was going to get cut this year, and I decided to get to it because I got snow coming in probably tonight, and it just feels good to know I have a reserve from what I've already cut. But now mind you, I really got way more than enough wood. All that stuff from milling, that certainly is a lot of wood. It just burns really fast. Nevertheless, this is heat, cooking, both. So it's really nice to have it. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm in winter mode here. So what I'm doing is stocking up some reserve wood in another area. That's actually fresher cuts, so these need a little more time. I'm hoping I don't have to touch any of this at all this winter. It's an El Nino year, which from what I've researched for the west, it's going to be warmer than average. And for the east, it's going to be colder than average. So I'm in the west, so for me, that's a good thing this year, because last year was really tough. It was really harsh, so I had to leave here. This year, I built the cabin. Even though it's not complete, it's been set up enough that I can live through winter here. So if you go off grid, my suggestion is know your climate for the area you're going to go off grid to, and then prepare accordingly. Yeah. I'll be all through the winter working on the siding stuff where I can, how I can. I'll try to keep around the perimeter of the building clear as I possibly can, because if I can get the whole thing sided during the winter with what I've already milled, that's great. I don't know that I'm going to be able to mill anymore. I don't know that I'm going to get the whole thing completed, but with what I've got milled, I bet you I can get 3 sides. That'll still leave 3 sides due to the configuration of it. And if I can get all 3 sides done that I think I'm going to do, that'll be basically the front facing area and one side where the ladder is right now. So I'll give you a view of what my game plan is here. All right, so you can see where Sage is over there in front of the cabin, where the ladder is, and then coming underneath the tarp and around the corner, the whole deck area. I believe I have enough siding to complete those areas, and then maybe enough for the very end here. Of course, I'm only going up to where the gable goes like this, and then we'll come across with a trim. All of this is going to get shingled next spring. I'm going to take my lap siding maker and turn around and make shingles with it. And when I make shingles, so I'm going to give it a little cottage feel to it, is the goal. So the trim is going to be the dark forest green, basically like the tarp, or like my windows, even darker in the roof, darker. So I got a dark forest green paint. For now, I have trim screws that I bought that I'll just do a limited amount of screws on the trim. I'll start with a window here, then I'll start putting up the other trim. I got to make whatever I can find in here that's good dry wood to work with. And the reason I'm screwing this stuff is because if for some reason I end up getting warpage, I can unscrew it, pull it off, make a new piece. They're not even going to get painted this year. It's all going to go up as raw wood. I'll have to pull them off no matter what to paint them. So I'll pull them off, paint them, put them back on, and I'll do that late spring. And that way I'll give them a chance to get into some sunnier weather and see if they warp. If they do, then at least I know that I don't want to go and waste paint on them and waste a lot of time. I can make new stuff, put it under some weight, let it dry out in the sun, and fingers crossed they don't warp on me. One of the big things I've had a problem with interior wise is the heat from the wood stove has caused stuff to warp. So like I've got one cabinet door that's got a pretty good warp in it. I may work with it still because I like the idea of heat getting down in there underneath the cabinet. I don't want it to freeze under there, and it is on an outside wall. So I may be okay with that. But the front door, it's got a pretty good warp at the top where it opens up and meets. It's warped really bad. Midway, no warpage, just perfectly fine. So heat rises. So the heat was up there high at the top of the door, and it was just too hot, and it caused it to dry and warp. Even though the wood sat out for months, I still ended up getting warped. But let's see if I can just get this out of the way enough, hopefully, that I can get in here. Plus take a look at it. I'll move this thing. There's a bunch of soot in there. I mean, pretty good amount. Ton of soot. So, I vacuumed up here. We'll go ahead and get this repositioned, see if I can't get it hooked back up. Initially, now. I talked to a guy, he says that screen up there is a problem. He says usually we don't put screens on them. He says that they clog up. About every month you'd have to go up and clean it. Of course, I don't even like the idea of climbing up on this 12 pitch. And I don't really have a way to hook up my safety harness right now. So I'm going to get up here as carefully as I can. It's nice and dry, so hopefully I can get up here without getting hurt. Yeah, it's clogged solid. Oh yeah, that screen will come out. So that's just horrible. Look at that. Guess I gotta climb up on the roof again, huh? But that's how that's gonna look this time. All right. I had no heat for a day. The only time I got heat was when I went into my trailer for a little bit. All right. Okay. So right now, that thing is doing exactly what it should be doing. All right, so I'm getting ready for winter here. I've got the plow on the front of the tractor. I got to get it adjusted one way because I want it to push off the road any snow. So I put these chains on the other day. It's gonna snow possibly tonight and tomorrow. I don't know for sure. So I thought I'd throw some of these bungees on here, 2 on each side. In an attempt to keep it taut. And I wish I would have gotten more, honestly, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't get enough to do any more than 2 on the outside and 1 on the back side, so hopefully that'll work. Yeah, I got this little guy right here. So what I'm going to do is, I'd like to run that from the back side maybe. I think it'll hold better. Let's see. Okay. So hopefully that'll work out okay. This floppy chain here, I don't want it flopping around hitting stuff. So same thing. I'm just running it up, and I'm gonna get up here and lock it into a spot. And that should keep it from flopping around. Pretty sure the chains are going to stay on okay. Now, that's where I'm going to stage, is right at my top of my lower 20 acres. That's my upper 20 over there that I'm going to put the driveway in. And this is a road between it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this road between it and up a ways clear. And then two other neighbors have tractors and they're going to keep sections clear so we have a way out this winter. So I've never used this before. This is a brand new implement that I had bought when I was over at Bobcat this last summer. Anyhow, I'm going to go down, grab a tarp, throw over it, since I don't have a roof on mine, so that when I hop on it I don't have to do anything but pull a tarp off and shake the snow off that. I'm going to start milling wood next year before I start breaking ground for the cabin that's going to be built up there, the timber framer. And I will take and calculate out the how many doors I'm going to have in that place, what kind of doors, make sure I cut wood thicker and longer and wider than I need so that it can have its shrink effect, and then I can come along and recut it down to size. I can plane it down to thickness and hopefully have no warp problems, because it'll have had a chance to season for a good year or two. Hopefully a 2-year seasoning. Before I have to start working on the interior. The exterior, my guess is it's going to be done in about 2 years. Then I'll start working on the interior. So this is a long-term project. I hope you'll stick by me. I also have an outdoor cooking station that I want to build, which will have a pizza oven basically in it, plus a grill, an outdoor grill next to that. I also want to build a smokehouse, a cold smokehouse, and I want to do a sun drying food dryer for like doing apple chips and stuff like that. So I got a lot of things that I planned out a long time ago to build. It's all just going to take time. Those little things will come probably after part of the cabin build's done, and then I'll take breaks to break up the monotony of the cabin build. So I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to wait to build everything in one foul swoop and then show it to you. But what I will do, just so you know, like this winter, I'll start working on a video that shows the whole tiny cabin build, all in one video that will be condensed on down to maybe a half hour. So once I get the cabin built, I'll get that all finished off, and then I will provide a tiny cabin build video that's complete in summary. Same thing with other things I've done. If I've built a cabinet in there, I might just take that little cabinet build and summarize that whole thing into one little video and pop it on. So I'm going to try and consolidate a lot of videos and create videos that are all in one whole. So if somebody wants to see how something was done from start to finish, that ability will be there to see that, instead of having to go through all my videos. If you're following me in the first place, it's good for you, because you're going to see a lot more than what's going to be in those videos. You're going to get to see more of the lifestyle off grid, and hopefully it'll give you an idea if that's even something you're really truly interested in, because it's not an easy life. You're working all the time. I feel like I work harder now than I did when I worked at my job for a company. And but I'm doing it for me, so it's a whole different gambit, and it's much more rewarding to me to spend 7 days a week working. I do want to sit down and relax at some point. I want to go fishing. I'd like to go hunting. There's a lot of things I'd like to do, but right now, priorities getting this stuff going, getting it done, and it's going to take some years. So you may not see me fishing anytime soon because I just don't feel like I can stop doing what I'm doing and have fun. So hopefully I don't burn out. That's the big thing you gotta worry about too, is burning out on it. So I'm gonna try not to burn out on it. The videotaping, that slows everything down, but it's also rewarding to document everything you're doing. So that's why I do it, because to me, I actually enjoy going back and looking at what I've done and seeing what my progress was, because that helps motivate me to keep going. Because then I look at my progress and I go, yeah, that was nothing. This whole area was nothing. And now look at it. You know, yeah, there's stuff scattered about, but eventually that won't be there. Eventually, this whole area will be clean and tidy and look nice, because that's the kind of guy I am. But right now, yeah, it's in construction mode. Let's put it that way. So once that gets all cleaned up, I'll be able to keep up with the milling, because there's going to be a lot less of it. And so all that scrap wood, there'll be a lot less of. But hey, this stuff's a godsend. I mean, this stuff is firewood. It's good stuff. Anyways, I think I've yapped enough. Thank you for watching. All right, so I've got a piece of wood here that's about 1 inch thick. That's going to go along the right-hand corner by the door. It's going to be a trim piece to go up there. I'm going to get it down to 3/4 of an inch thick, and that's what I'm going to work with for my trim. And again, I'll be screwing this on. I still got to cut an angle at the top to fit how I want it, unless I want it to be just straight across. So I haven't decided. We'll see what happens when I get there. That looks pretty good, thickness-wise. Comes out pretty clean after a few passes, taking out these high spots. Just so you can get an idea of what it looks like when you look at this. You can see right here, kind of rough texture. Then you go over here, that's what that planer does. It smooths all that out and makes it all really nice. Huge difference. That'll fit here. Everything's longer than it needs to be, and that can cut these down. Only thing I'm concerned with is the summer shrinkage here. That's why I'm going to screw these in with a limited amount of screws. They could warp too, but if they shrink like this, and I've already put the lap siding on, what will be easiest to do is make new ones of these that are wider. Make sure they've cured really good, so I've got a good tight fit. Now mind you, it doesn't have to be perfectly tight, because I'm going to run a bead of caulk down all of these and see if I can find some caulk that'll either be like a light brown, I'm sure I can, so it'll match the stain on this stuff, and then I'll run those along each of these, because these are going to be dark forest green. So that's the color I'm aiming for on those, rather than keeping them natural wood look, because I want the cabin to have a varied look. Same with the shingles. Those shingles are going to get a little darker shade of stain on them. So the rest of the cabin will have more of a lighter look to it, like it'll be the door color. But these will be more of a charcoalish looking shingle. And I think that'll look really good. That'll fit in with the theme that I want them to look like anyway. So yeah, I'm excited to get it done. It'd be nice to get it done because I got to get moving on. I got to get to the Quonset hut, and from the Quonset hut, I got to go down and do my water spring development. From the spring development, I need to go up and start breaking ground for the cabin. I always give myself more to do than I can accomplish, so we'll see what I can get done next year. My goal is for sure to get the Quonset hut and the spring done, and hopefully break ground on the cabin. Even if I don't break ground on the cabin, I will be milling wood like I talked about while I was cutting logs for the cabin build. I will be putting stuff in that Quonset hut, because on the Quonset hut I'm going to have an 18-foot flatbed trailer sitting in there, and I'm going to go and load that thing up with wood that's curing in a nice dry area for the future cabin build, so that I don't have the problems I'm having with warpage over here. I don't want to run into that same kind of problem. I want to be fully prepared to plane the wood down to where I need it and know that it's going to be stable. So that's what we're going to see if we can do. So keep watching if you're interested in seeing how it works out. Thank you.